Harder, better, faster, stronger. These four words project the sentiments of two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, over the mad dash for ballistic missiles that could be used to launch objects into the depths of space. This mad dash would be later known as the space race. In 1955, within 4 days of each other, the US and the Soviet Union announced that they would be launching artificial satellites into orbit. Despite the US's frantic struggle to be the first to launch an artificial satellite in space, on October 4, 1957, the Soviet Union launched the Sputnik 1 satellite into orbit. The Soviet success created widespread panic in the US, and President Dwight D. Eisenhower ordered his satellite project, Vanguard, to speed up its efforts. However, when the time came to send the satellite into space in December 1957, a launch failure occurred, leaving the US devastated, and newspapers entitled the satellite failure as Flopnik or Sputnik. However, the US did not give up, and in January of the next year, the Explorer 1, or the first successful American satellite, was launched. These events, along with the launch of Yuri Gagarin into orbit in 1961, the first man in space, bolstered the USSR's confidence and led to events such as the West Berlin takeover.
Now would you look at that, the devastation from Germany in World War I still has to be rebuilt. I mean, the reason why we divided Germany was to rebuild it. Now it seems like nothing's happening. I mean, if the Allies could just let go of West Berlin and have it under our own control, everything would be perfect, I assure you. So, any new developments in that case?
Everything's the same. The Allies are still clinging to West Berlin, and they refuse to leave.
I just don't understand it. Sometimes I wonder why we're ignoring the threats for Berlin. I mean, the Westerners should just accept the fact that we want Germany. In that case, Germany would finally have its independence and we would have a buffer against the fascist attacks.
I agree, but not everyone thinks the same way as you do. I mean, especially the Westerners. They're only in West Berlin just to dispatch our communist influence, but they also are there to instate their wretched capitalism. By the way, I have a letter from the President of the United States, Dwight D.
I know who he is.
Sorry, sir. But he sent us an invitation for you to come to the United States this November. He wants to have a little chat with you.
What would you recommend?
Well, I think it's a very good idea. It's a good opportunity for the Americans to see that you're actually human and not that ruthless dictator that they seem to think you are. It's also a very good idea to advocate the demilitarization of West Germany.
Very well. Inform the White House that I shall be attending. And pack my bags!
Yes, I'll send you a message promptly.
Very good.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hey Mom, what's for dinner?
Same as yesterday, soup and bread. What do you expect?
Tired of soup and breadcrumbs? Tired of wasting your time cooking food for hours upon hours? Do you ever crave meat, like 100% ground beef? Well, come to McDonald's. Here at the Golden Arches, we sell quality beef hamburgers.
Meat?
All day long.
Really?
Just 28 cents. So come on down to McDonald's today.
Hello, Mr. Eisenhower. How are you today?
I'm fine, Mr. Khrushchev. How are you liking the States so far?
So, I suppose. The people are very friendly.
I think the longer you'll stay here, the more you'll enjoy Maryland.
So, any new news in the States?
Well, the Dodgers won this year, and we just launched the Discoverer 2, which broke Earth's gravity.
I suppose that wouldn't be the first thing you've stolen from us.
What do you mean?
I mean to say that I've seen planes flying over the Soviet Union. What do you make of that?
Well, those weren't our planes.
Are you quite certain?
I'm sure.
Well, I believe that previously we had a sort of open skies policy. I would like to right now say I dismiss that.
That won't be necessary.
You know, Ike, things in West Berlin and West Germany are getting serious. This time, I didn't just make some sort of excuse to meet you.
What? We had it all planned out. We were gonna go climb Half Dome, skiing in Denver.
All that comes later. First, we have to have a little talk. We want all of Berlin. That's it.
But such a thing would be political suicide. I would lose office. All of my supporters would deny me.
It doesn't matter. I can't just have 1/4 of Germany that isn't owned by the USSR. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, you don't have to shout. How about we delay the meeting until a later date?
Very well. When should we meet?
I'd say 3 months from now. I don't want to wait that long.
Very well. How about Paris?
Sounds good.
Whoa! We have a problem! Enemy bird in the sky!
Francis Powers has been missing for 4 days. He could be dead, and the Soviets probably destroyed the plane. What should we do?
Cover it up. Say that this was supposed to be a joint mission with NASA, but resulted in difficulties in the pilot.
Understood, Mr. President. Sir, you need to see this. It's Khrushchev, it's really
Relax, I know who it is.
Citizens of America, I would like to inform you that we have shot down a spy plane over Soviet-owned territory. That is all.
Sir, do you think he knows about the cover-up? We need to tell the public or else.
Issue another cover-up. We can still continue our story.
I'm back here again with President Eisenhower regarding Nikita Khrushchev's shocking statement about a spy plane being shot down over Russia. Mr. President, any comments?
For those of you who are wondering, the plane that Mr. Powers flew was a weather plane, not a spy plane.
So regarding the plane that Mr. Powers was flying, what do you think caused the crash? The Soviet Union?
It seems unlikely that the Soviet Union was involved. Well, he was having oxygen problems while flying, and he might have went unconscious after that. Autopilot was on, so the plane might have ended up in the Soviet Union. No more.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
How have companies grown to become so powerful?
Hello, I'm William White, author of The Organization Man. In this growing corporate America, it is very important to remember that diversified jobs are beginning to dominate the economy in industries such as food processing, transportation, and banking. These large corporations must have a solid framework for teams to work effectively. But Americans, while others have come to this country for the sake of liberty and freedom, is exactly what we're losing right now. Us workers are submitting to conformity by obeying standard rules. How do we save our individuality from large corporations? Read my book, The Organization Man, to find out.
Selling for $2.50 in all bookstores, a New York Times bestseller.
Hello?
Hello, Eisenhower. How are things going?
Fine, I suppose, Mr. Khrushchev. And you?
Fine. So, is there any new things happening in the United States?
I have nothing of interest, I'd say.
Nothing of interest? Are you sure? Perhaps a plane? Something about a plane?
A plane. Oh, you must be referring to the weather plane. Oh, for a tragic incident that happened to Francis Powers.
Ah yes, the weather plane. Francis Powers. Truly a shame.
Perhaps you should turn to the screen now. I'm sure there's probably something new about it.
Could the President of the United States be lying to us all along? Take a look at this recent announcement from Nikita Khrushchev.
Americans, in my last report, I deliberately did not include to say that the pilot is alive and well. Now look at the silly things that Americans have said.
You're bluffing. You can't prove anything.
Why don't you turn your lying face to the screen just one more time?
The Soviets have sent photos of Mr. Powers and the plane. Coming up next, was Mr. Powers actually on a spy mission instead of a weather mission? What was the purpose of this cover-up story?
Mr. Eisenhower, I do believe that I clearly mentioned at our meeting at Camp David that I did not approve of the open skies policy. You have clearly broken that trust. I'm sorry. How do you feel about yourself now? Save it, Eisenhower. Listen, if you want to see Francis Powers back alive, I shall gladly exchange him for Colonel William Fisher at the Grenwick Village in Berlin. Otherwise, I hope you have a terrible day. Goodbye. I can never trust you again, Eisenhower.